and then I will be watching the door and be letting everyone in.
Oh, there's a door. Thank you for letting me in.
All right, all right. So it looks like everyone's starting to file in.
Great.
How are things in California today?
California is absolutely a slice of paradise. We are having what we call Santa Ana winds, which are offshore winds, which makes it a little warmer or a little colder, you choose. So we call it fire weather. We do have 4 seasons here in California. We have fire, we have wind, we have mudslides, and we have earthquakes. So I do get the 4 seasons.
Yeah. This is interesting because most of our sessions are over the telephone. So we haven't done a whole lot of this face to face.
Yeah, we started on Zoom and then we had some connection problems. We switched over. So I'm going to ask everybody that's coming in, and I'll repeat myself. I thrive on interaction. I actually need it in order to give you the best value. So I'm going to ask you guys to turn on your cameras, like Travis did. So
I've been prepping them for this for months.
For months?
Yeah, ever since day one.
Like to be on a call with me?
Oh no, to turn on their cameras.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
All right.
Good. So let's go
it looks like we're starting to get the flow in.
Awesome.
I will do like a 10-second introduction, and then Deb, I'm going to turn over the floor to you. Do you? I'll make you a co-host in case you want to play co-host. And,
okay. Share things.
If you, I don't want to put any pressure on you if that wasn't your intention. But all right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking an hour out of your lead generation time. My advice to you is to replace this hour with an hour at the end of the day. It is the 20th of the month. So as we know, we should be about 2/3 to our goal. And this is my coach in the upper left-hand corner, or at least in the upper left-hand corner of my screen. Her name is Deb Jolly. She is out of San Diego. We have been working together now since beginning of March or middle of March of last year. And we speak every week for 30 minutes. And the content of our sessions each week are exclusively around how can I help you guys build your business bigger and faster and more efficiently. And she holds me accountable to my performance numbers from a growth standpoint, and she also holds me accountable to your performance standards with respect to listings taken and appointments and commissions and that kind of stuff too. So I told everyone, Deb, that you have access to my PC results page, so she probably recognizes a lot of the names that are on the call today. I just want to thank you for, I know your time is super, super valuable. I want to express my gratitude for all the help you've given over the last handful of months and for making this a part of your day today. The floor is yours.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It is an honor and a privilege to serve in partnership with one of the most powerful leadership groups in this company. And I endeavored to actually do that and become the coach for the Georgia Legacy Group. A little background on me. I do live in Southern California, actually not San Diego, closer to Laguna Beach, but it's all the same. It's a beach. It's one big strip of sand. I have been licensed in the state of California as a real estate broker for 35 years. I started my career in real estate when I was 25, do the math, and I would have won the youngest real estate agent because just by default. So the 30 under 30, maybe you've heard of that award. There weren't any people under 30 in real estate when I time. So I've watched real estate evolve quite a bit. I've been with 3 companies. One was a large independent company, very well versed in training. The second was I was a junior franchise owner for a Coldwell Banker. You're familiar with that company, for about 16 years. And I joined Keller Williams as a team leader, much like Bill, back in 2010. And I really have learned so much being with them now for 10 years. My passion and my privilege is to coach productivity coaches. I am a former productivity coach, and I absolutely love the role. I am very transparent, just in case Bill maybe gave you a little disclosure. I'm a land the plane kind of gal. I'm going to say it like it is. And then the reason that I do that is because I care. Is that all right? Do I have your permission?
It
Okay,
looks
got
like
it.
everyone has granted you permission. That's why we get
Okay,
along.
okay, good. There's a lot of things I could drone on about. And I'm really excited to see the faces behind the names on the spreadsheet that I interrogate every week. So I want to thank you guys for being on here. I also want to thank you for erasing and replacing, because we do have this hour in the middle of lead gen, which is the most important time that you spend on your calendar. So what I want to do is, as you were thinking about jumping on this call, what's the most important thing for you? What questions might you have for me? How can we make this the most valuable time for you?
For those that popped on within the last couple of minutes, Deb has requested lots of interaction today. So feel free to take yourself off of mute, shout out your thoughts and suggestions. We'd love to help you at the highest level.
I have a question.
Yeah, Heather.
So when you were very first starting out in your career and you were learning and absorbing and trying different things, what was the very first thing for you that clicked, and from there your business just took off and you knew you were going in the right direction?
That is a great question. I had a little bit of a different start to my real estate career. I was 25 years old and I was very blonde. Now I pay for blonde, but I was very blonde, which means I just listened to people and I did what they told me. I had just moved into a new area and I said, okay, I got my real estate license. Now what do I do? And I had some experience in a new home subdivision sales, so I kind of knew. What do I do? Oh, well, Deb, you're going to talk to people you know and you don't know about buying, selling, and investing in real estate. Great. I don't know anybody here. Okay, Deb, you're going to talk to people you don't know about buying, selling, and investing in real estate. Awesome. What do I say? And they handed me some scripts. And I said, okay, so once I get somebody to buy a house, what do I do? We're going to have to write a contract. Great. What's a contract? I mean, that's how. Here's the contract, practice writing the contract. So what I did, Heather, is I practiced scripts and dialogue. I blocked my time. I come from an industry, I was in new home sales. I was in the back office where I worked a job, a job. I showed up at 8:30. I had a lunch break at 12, and I went home at 5. So for some reason, I kept that mentality when I went into real estate. So in the morning, I would practice scripts because I didn't know what to say. And I needed to look like I knew what I was doing because I looked like I was 16. My biggest fear wasn't that somebody was going to ask me how long I've been in real estate. My biggest fear was they were going to ask me how old I was. And then speak to my parent. They wanted to speak to my parents. So I did script and dialogue relentlessly. And then I just was fearless. I just went out and I was door knocking and I was calling for sale by owners. They told me call expired, say this. I did it. And I sold 2 houses in my first 10 days. Yeah, that was a wow. I read your, because I figured if somebody,
2 houses in your first year.
Yeah, no, first 10 days. Because I figured if somebody was calling on a house that they must want to buy it. I was just that naive, or maybe not. If they were talking about selling their house, it must be because they wanted to sell their house. So I just went in the mode with, we're gonna put your house on the market. Now I know that's naive, but what happened was I sold those 2 houses in my first 10 days. I was rookie of the moment. And then caring mentors and agents in the office sat me down and told me how life really was, that was beginner's luck. And that's not how it works. And you should be working with buyers. You're a new agent. And it takes 6 months to really make it in this industry. Do you have those kind of, so I listened to them and I stopped practicing scripts. And I stopped lead generating because now I was gonna mentor myself, fashion myself over the experienced agents. So I took care of my 2 babies, right? My 2 sales, because I'm in service and I took care of them. I serviced them at a high level. They closed and I'm out of business. I was very motivated to make money as a single parent for 20 years of my 35 years. And I had 2 little ones, a preschool and kindergartner. And I had to make money. I paid for a babysitter and I worked from 8 to 5. So that didn't work very well, did it? So I started that roller coaster, lead gen, get a deal, take care of the deal, service the deal. So I get repeat business, close the deal, out of business, and I would go back again until I figured out that there is a time schedule. Does that make sense? So
Yeah, when you say out of business, just to clarify, that means you don't have any active clients, right? You haven't dedicated time while you were nurturing those 2 transactions that were soon to close. You weren't actively finding the next people, and so those deals closed, and you essentially woke up unemployed.
Unemployed. Because nobody told me I woke up every morning unemployed. So it's funny that you say, you know, what took it to click to know I had it was after those 2 closed, and I realized, wow, okay, great money, nothing in the pipeline. And to treat it like a job. So I thought, okay, treat it like a job. You know how to show up at 8:30 in the morning, script and role play practice, get on the phones, get in the streets, whatever it was, hold open houses. I did it all. And I stopped listening to the voices in my head that said I couldn't do it. And I started talking to myself. Sometimes we need to talk to ourselves more than we listen to ourselves, because the voices in our head will tell us other things. Got to do a mindset shift, right? Does that make sense? And I stopped listening to all the advice of other people, because I was looking at the people who dressed good, that looked good, that said they were all that in a bag of chips. And then one day I got to look at their production. In this company, production wasn't transparent. So I realized that the people that were giving me advice were really good at giving me bad advice. And they weren't really good at running a real estate business. Does that make sense? And quite frankly, I fail forward every day. You never arrive. You never arrive. So great question, Heather. Really great question. Does that help?
Yeah, it actually really does help. And I like what you said, because that goes with what Bill's always drilling to us, that even if we have something we have to work on because we have an active client, we need to be prioritizing and really focusing on lead gen to have other, and that's always sunk in. But now when you say you're unemployed, I realize that as soon as I close on this, like, I am unemployed. And that's why Bill's so adamant that we need to be constantly drumming up new business so we're not unemployed.
Yeah. So let me talk about Bill for a minute. I coach over 179 leaders in this organization. Georgia Legacy Group is one of the top. Bill Linkwald is one of the top PCs in this company. What he's doing is he's learned from, he's a student of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I live in that book. So what he's saying about the employment, and Gary says it, looking for new business, servicing your current business never takes precedence over finding new business. You've got to build the pipeline. It's part of your job. Now, some of you might be thinking this, I don't like lead gen. Well, either did I. Gary didn't like it either. So let's just get real here. Nobody really loves to get on the phone, get on Facebook, work on command, do the open houses, ask people questions, practice scripts. I don't want to sound salesy. We don't like that part, right? I mean, does anybody just get up in the morning and say, I'm a natural salesperson. I know exactly what to say. I'm going to grind my face off for 2.5 hours on the phones. And does anybody love it?
Not me.
No. Embrace the suck, people. There's the transparent part.
Yeah.
Do we like the results? Yes. I like the results. I just don't like the actual lead gen. That's why we do it first thing in the morning. Get it over with.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? What are you hearing?
Don't be too quiet, you guys.
I'm going to ask a really
I
straight
get-
question.
Oh.
Go ahead, Greta, and Corey, I'll come to you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for participating.
Script practice, like I'm struggling with that concept because every time I start to script practice, it just leads into conversations, but not script practice. And it's so easy just to fall off because the
You don't want to do it.
they're terrible. I can't stand them. I hate them. And they're awkward and they don't feel good and they feel inauthentic. And I don't know what to do with them to make them doable.
Greta, I thank you and honor you for that. So when you say you hate them, they sound authentic. You're talking about the script, right? And not the script partner, because that's a different.
No, not the script partner. My partner's
Okay.
been great. It's the
Okay.
script itself. I remember being scripted on by a friend and asking me about his, tell me, I'm looking for you to help my business, do my business. And it was so cringy and so all about him. And I could not stand it. And so I read some of these and it sounds very much like, give me, all about me. And I'm looking for scripts that are all outward focused because that to me is more authentic to who I am as a person.
Great. And you've just nailed every hesitation on scripts before. Yeah, they don't sound like you because they aren't you yet.
Yeah.
So I remember, and I felt the same way. Oh my God, it sounds so salesy and it's all about me and it's all about, look for a script that asks questions because it's really all about them. Care calls is a great one. It really, truly is about them. I remember a coach telling me several years ago that I'm like, I don't want to do these. These don't sound like me. And he says, you're right. What they sound like is they sound like a business owner that's earning $250,000 a year. So yeah, they don't sound, that's another, sorry, throat punch, should have asked permission. When we internalize the scripts, then they become us, therefore authentic. Stay with me here, Greta. You also will be able to add your own flair. We internalize the scripts. Business is a set of numbers. It's a profit and then numbers to reach those profits. That's why Bill's always on you to track the numbers, right? We present our way to success, which means we have dialogue with people that get them to do business with us quicker than not. Now, if they're not going to do business, there is nothing that you can say that will change. I have never forced anybody to sell a house, and I've never forced anybody to buy our house. It's not going to happen. When you're having a conversation and you put service first, how can I help? What do you need? How's work doing? How is homeschooling doing? Those kind of care calls, what can I do for you? Or who do you know? You know, a script like I'm in a contest, I'm looking to win the contest. Can you help me? I'm looking for 5 referrals this week. Who do you know who's thinking about moving? I like this one. Who do you know who's looking to win the lottery? Now, if it's not authentic to you, internalize it until it is authentic. Then you tweak it. The words we use are important, and until we internalize them, they won't be us. They feel awkward, and they won't present well. So if that campy, salesy sales pitch that you got was just somebody that hadn't internalized it, or they didn't believe in what they were doing. Does anybody believe that home ownership and helping people is why we're in this business, that we're here to serve others? I am service first. Gary is service first, sales second. Keep working on the scripts to make them authentic. Does that help?
Right. One of the things that I always say is when you know that you are passionate and well-trained and well-practiced and well-organized, and you're a person of integrity, and simultaneously you know that the average real estate agent isn't all that good, then you feel compelled to make certain that the person that you're about to call doesn't end up in the hands of a weak agent, right? And I remember, Diana Kokoska's script about, oh, I don't want you to be with a weak agent at a week, pick a weak agent at a weak time. And I read that, and Greta, I was just like you. I was like, there's no chance in hell I'm ever going to say that.
Yeah.
And I say it a lot now, right? Because I truly believe that I will do a better job than the average realtor.
And we've seen them fall into the hands of an agent who doesn't have a service first heart. And I've seen the damage that has been done to families and finances because of that. So I endeavor to help as many people as I can. I do that with scripts and dialogue. The things that I'm saying to you today are all, we all have scripts. We all have scripts. Some of them work better than others. We all have scripts and dialogue. We present our way to success. You just keep practicing them until you internalize them. Can I spend a minute or two on script partners? Would that be helpful?
Please.
There's a rule about script and role play partners, and I'll tell a story about two of my mentors, Diana Kokoska, who's the original author of Bold, It's Been Changed Many Times, and her husband, Tony DeCello. Diana is known as the queen of scripts. Sometimes it sounds a little campy to me, Greta. I'm going to say it. But a lot of times it just sounds really, really authentic because I know how much she cares. When Tony and Diana first started dating, Tony wanted a dinner date with Diana, and he brought a tape recorder to the dinner. That's romantic. To tape some of her scripts. And they became script and role play partners. And they met at the same time every day, first thing in the morning, pretty early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and they practiced scripts for 15 minutes. The phone rang, Diana would give him the script, Tony would give 2 objections, and then he'd give her the appointment. And then they would flip, Tony would do the same script. They've already decided what script, right? She would give him 2 objections, he would close, and she would give him the appointment. It took 15 minutes. There's no reason to talk about the weather. Y'all live in the same place. You know what the weather is. Any other dialogue than that, and then they hung up. If you miss 2 role plays with me, you're out. 2 strikes, you're out. And I'll go find another role play partner. And I had a role play partner, a different one every day for 5 years on the same time. I got pretty good at asking questions. Some of the best scripts are questions. Has anybody seen Choose Your Script Champion on KW Connect?
Tell us, I mean, I know what it is, but can you share with us what that is? We haven't talked about it a whole lot.
So during Mega Camp, we did this thing. We thought, oh, it'd be fun to do like a script off. We had some of the best agents on stage, and they did a script off. And it was broken down like basketball. I know nothing about basketball, where you would take on 2 people, and then you would move on to the finals. Well, if you go to KW Connect, and I'll give Bill the link so he can share it with you, you'll see the best of the best in Script Champions. Listen to how natural it feels. These are all scripts, by the way, that they've internalized, and there's a script book that goes along with it. It's the road to family reunion. I know you're all going to family reunion, so you can see the actual champion. So watch where you'll see them get eliminated. I get all geeked about it because it's a competition, and I like friendly competition. Listen to how natural they are and study those dialogues. The reason that they sound natural is because they've internalized it. Super fun, super fun.
Can you speak for 2 seconds about family reunion?
Yeah.
We've made it I haven't made it like you go or you're not in the PC program, but I'm like right on the edge of that. Our office is working overtime to have vendors pay for tickets, and our intention, I just got an email from Lucy, our intention is for all those that want to go, we're going to get you a ticket for free. So last Mega Camp, we sent over 125 people to Mega Camp, and that is our intention absolutely for Family Reunion as well. And I want this group to be very, very well represented. So can you just speak for a second about what, sometimes people they think of like their business and they're like, oh, this little town in Roswell, Georgia, and like they forget that there's 180,000 agents across the country. We're in 50 regions in the world. What is Family Reunion? Like, why would somebody participate in something like that?
Yeah, so when I first came to Keller Williams, coming from Coldwell Banker, I went to national conferences every year because I was a franchise owner, so I had to go. And I would pick up the cassette tapes or the CDs, and I would listen to the main speakers, and then I would go travel the city. I'd see San Francisco. That was my old life with Coldwell Banker. So when they first told me about Family Reunion, my first thought was, well, that's a hokey name. My family's not there, so what is that? That was my first thought. So I went to Family Reunion, and I've always heard this. In order to expand your mind, Deb, sometimes you have to get out of your zip code, right? Travel to another place, listen to another speaker to gain another perspective. You hear Bill every day. Bill hears me every week. A different perspective is Family Reunion. These are the best of the best. We're the economist of choice. Gary's vision speech in and of itself is worth it. If you want to be able to service and help people and talk about the economy and what we're going to see happen in 2021 and 2022, you need to be there. Everybody goes, especially because of the price. Now, I got to tell you, when Bill said we're going to endeavor to give all of you free tickets, I went, ooh, because I would invest $3,500 with airfare and hotel accommodations and tickets each and every year. So the thought of 119 is like, wow, will they value the time? If you're getting it for free, treat it like you spent $5,000 on it, because that's how much, it's worth. You could take Family Reunion, Mega Camp, Bold, and coaching and make a great career with Ignite feathered in there. It's the best of the best. So I would block out time. We even have, so I heard on Facebook, we even have a group of people who have decided that it was supposed to be in Vegas this year. Vegas is fun, I guess. They're going to Vegas and they're getting a hotel room and they're watching Family Reunion in their hotel room, which I thought was weird. They just need to get out.
I'll try to run that by my wife. I don't think that's happening.
No, yeah, because I don't want to, I'm in California. We're the epicenter of COVID right now, right? We are completely shut down. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to be fully present in the room. Don't miss this, and treat it as though you've spent $35,000 to $5,000 in it to invest in, because it's that worth it. Everybody goes. Everybody goes.
Beautiful.
So
who's got some more questions?
Yeah.
Corey, I think you were going to say something, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Sorry, Corey. Totally.
That's okay. That's actually the story of my life. I usually get interrupted by a waiter. Like whenever I'm telling a joke and a punchline, they come in right in when I'm telling a punchline to tell the specials, something like that. So don't worry. Hi, thank you for joining us today. And well, first of all, a couple comments. I love embrace the suck. That's, I think, a Brene Brown term. And
it's a script.
So yeah. And just the voice in your head and the mindset is so important. It was occurring to me the other day when I was driving around looking at neighborhoods, and I was noticing, I think it's really important to notice our thoughts and because the more we observe our thoughts and the way we think about ourselves, that it's very helpful in our own personal growth and how we can change the way, change our mindset to be more positive. So I was noticing that I was becoming more comfortable calling people and not having this assumption that they were going to be bothered by my call. So I was noticing that I was getting more comfortable, just kind of coming in from we talk about come from a perspective of contribution. So, hey, how you doing? It's good to, good to talk to you, and just checking in on you, like the care call, that kind of thing. And so that was just an encouragement for me. So for anybody else on the call, I think that's kind of what you were saying. So you mentioned, a question I have is, you mentioned that you were a single parent at some point, and I wasn't sure if that was when you were starting out in real estate, or if that was earlier before you shifted into it. But I'm just curious, how did you balance everything when you were in that space? And because that's a lot to, and actually I'm in a similar situation. So I don't talk about that a lot because I don't want to amplify it, or that to be like something that is associated with my identity. That's not who I am. It's just part of my situation. And so I'm curious, how did you manage that and, become the rock
Okay.
star that you are today?
So it was early on in my career, probably about 6 months into my real estate career. I became a single parent. So I have a preschooler and one in kindergarten. And what I did was I knew that while they were in school, that was my time, right? During school, I was all business. If you wanted to chat with me about stuff and you didn't want to buy or sell a house, or you weren't a potential client that I could add to my database to nurture, quite frankly, I just didn't have the time. I'd be nice to you. Hey, Corey, good job. Let's script and role play practice, or go. And I was very hyper focused. I only had a certain number of hours. We all get into real estate for three, I call it the 3 F's: freedom, flexibility, and financial wealth. And we are super good at the freedom. I don't have to do it today. I can do it tomorrow. We are super cool on the flexibility. I know I have lead gen blocked for right now, and this afternoon, well, I can be flexible on that. And yet the financial wealth eludes us. I was super focused. I paid a babysitter, right, when they weren't in school. So I had money invested and I needed a return on my investment. So I was hyper focused. What I did was, when they were in school, I worked. When they weren't in school, I would come home in the afternoon, I would check on homework, I would get the dinner ready, and I'd get back on the phones. That's just how I rolled. Here's the thought process. What's the alternative? If not this, then what? Do I go get a job? I guess I could get a job that pays me very little money. No, not going to do it. I took a risk. So did you, Corey. So does that help?
Yeah. And I think right now, because that's been kind of the way I've been going about it, but with COVID, it changes things up a bit. So like my kids are home right now, like they don't have school today.
Right.
And I'm,
Yeah.
and I'm like, please be quiet.
Yeah.
But.
And I have 2 grown daughters. They survived. So they're close to 40 now, and they're doing the same thing, right? Mommy's
Right.
working, they're at school in front of a Zoom camera. It's teaching them time blocking, and it's messy. The younger they are, the messier it is, right? The messy they are. I don't know why. You figure it out, because what's the alternative? People are like, how'd you do it? I go, well, what was the alternative? Once they get to 8 or 9 years old, nobody wants to adopt them. So adoption was not an option. And they were cute. I wanted to keep them. It's just, you do what you do, right? At 40, adoption is, well, they survive now. So nobody wants to adopt a 40-year-old or a 41-year-old. You just deal with it.
I love the fact that you're being transparent about how it's messy. Like, I want to make sure that everyone completely hears this. Everyone that appears to be successful, there's a lot of messiness going on there.
Oh,
right?
And that's what Gary talks about. Fail forward fast on a daily basis. I
Right.
have cats going across Zoom rooms. I have kids that are, your clients are going to have the same thing, a listing presentation, right? their kids are crawling all over. You're talking about their biggest financial investment, and there is a cat vomiting on the, it just figure it out, right? Help people. It's going to be messy.
Hi, Deb.
Travis.
Yes, speaking to that a little bit, could you think back and remember the first time that you were in a situation and it hit you like a brick wall, I'm in over my head? And how did you deal with it?
I'm the first time or the last time?
Pick and choose. I'm brand new, so how about that first? I'm 3 weeks in, so did you?
Okay.
I want to hear about the last time. So you answer both, please.
Okay. The first time was the first day. I'm in over my head. I have no idea what to do. I have, financing, mortgage. I have the first day. And that's okay. The last time, well, this is my first call. It's 7:00 this morning on the, on the East Coast, on the West Coast, sorry. The last time I was over my head was at 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon when I was on the phone with a country called Puerto Rico. Way over my head. I am always over my head. Here's a book, write it down. Chop wood, carry water. How to fall in love with becoming great. I'm always over my head. Chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
I don't have the author in front of me. I don't have the book.
We've talked about this idea of like, look, being successful is stressful, but so is being broke. So which stress would you rather be dealing with?
I don't like the being broke. And I've been there. I've been through some wicked, awful markets. When I was way over my head financially, and I'll choose what's the worst thing that can happen? Let's face it. We are not frontline responders in an ER. No one is going to die on our watch. Be over your head and be good with it. Script and dialogue. So can I talk a little bit about a conversation that Gary Keller had with Monica Reynolds? Monica Reynolds is the vice president of MAPS. She's been she's been a coach for 40 years. She's been in the real estate business, hugely successful. Gary's message was here's what he said. Because I think there's a tendency to look for the new. Squirrel. New social media platform. Join this, join whatever it is, the new, instead of mastering the familiar. This tendency can undermine tremendous success. You've hit on a couple of them. The 3 L's is still the key to our success. The 3 L's, the triangle. Leads are at the bottom. Until you have enough leads, you're over your head. Just get enough leads to meet your goals. Listings. I know it's a low inventory. Start talking to yourself. In a market where inventory is low, who will you be in order to be the leader of opportunity as opposed to the follower of bad news? And leverage. The 3 L's are still. The number one determiner of success in any business is time blocking and for lead gen. Do it in the morning. Lead gen in the morning and let the afternoon fall into beautiful chaos called appointments. Lead gen in the morning, service in the afternoon. Make sense? Go ahead.
Good.
Shifts happen. We're in a shift, in case you didn't realize it. So Travis, the absolute most successful agents that I have ever met, let's take Andy Peters, started their real estate career in a shift. So you're in a perfect spot. You won't hurt anybody. You've got a coach. My God, if I had a productivity coach like Bill when I first got in the business, I just can't even imagine what it would be like. He would sit down with me and say, keep going, right? Keep going. You've got a wonderful company. You've got great leadership. You've got Bill. You can't fail. unless you don't do the work. Time blocking is the number one determinant. Shifts happen. We're in a low inventory. And then we all hear about these record numbers, right? Most closed units. Here's what I know. In order to close a transaction, there needs to be a buyer and what? A seller, right?
So
So the agents, thanks, Brian.
I was
Um,
giving everyone a chance.
Okay. So in that, so is it that nobody's listing? Nobody? Not true. Not true. Because in order to have a closed transaction, I need a buyer and a seller. Therefore, go get listings. If you're working with a buyer right now, your job is to go find them a listing. Guess what? Most likely, it's not going to be in the multiple listing service. Most likely, it's going to be in your database. Get your database to 300 now. It's as soon as possible. Get it to 1,000 right after you get it to 300. Talk to the people. Nurture the database. It converts at 6%. Do the math. How many units does it take to cap in your market, Bill? 9?
5 to 6.
5 to 6. Great. So if I want to close 9, just 9 transactions, that's a really low goal. And yet, if I just want to close 9 transactions, if I have 300 in my database, and let's just say I really suck. I mean, I'm new and I'm not practicing my scripts and dialogue, so I suck at conversion. If I convert at half, 3%, I'm going to hit my numbers. Success is mathematical. Time blocking is where your discipline is. Practicing your scripts and dialogue every day that you work. Time blocking. The first thing you time block for is your time off. Endeavor to work in between your vacations. What are you talking about vacation, Deb? Nobody's going anywhere. I know. Take it off. Plan your vacations for the entire year of 2021. Then plan your planning time. What's planning time? Well, that's space on Friday to look at your week, reflect, evaluate, see where you are in relationship to your goals. I believe Bill mentioned we should be almost 3/4 of the way to our January goal, right, Bill? It's the
Yep.
20th. It's the 20th. You might have to really push for the next 11 days to hit your goals, and that's okay. And then block your pay time. So it's play time, plan time, pay time.
Yeah.
I missed the planning time. As an agent, I didn't look. I just kept going, which equals burnout. Plan your days off. Work in between your time off. Hit your goals. And if I don't hit my goals, I have to remove a day off. As a single parent, things that I missed because I didn't plan and I didn't work when I worked, my daughters will tell you, were a lot until I figured it out. I missed a lot. Don't do that.
Deb, can you kind of normalize lead generation in your like, people hear lead generation, they're like, it's like this, maybe this like thing we do or this place we go or like this thing that we've never done before. Can you just normalize that a little bit? Like, what are we really supposed to be doing when we're lead generating?
Yeah, that's a great question, because lead generation in my brain when I first started was cold calling. And I watched agents in the office just grinding their face off on the phone, and it was very robotic. And Greta, they didn't have the scripts down because they didn't really care, and it was really inauthentic. And they made it just by the sheer masses, which frightened me to no end. Lead generation is connecting with people. It's providing service. It's connecting with them however we connect. Facebook, Instagram, text message, however they communicate. Lead gen, it's having conversations. Eventually, you're going to have a conversation with a human being in order to move them into business. Lead generation, I'm looking for 2 things. The first thing I'm looking for is an appointment. And when I mean an appointment, it's an appointment to do business. In my time block, I have 2 or 3 blocks of time that are my appointment time, Monday through Friday. or Monday through, Tuesday through Saturday, whatever your schedule is. The game is fill the appointment time. Wake up and be employed. Fill an appointment time. However I do it. It could be door knocking. It could be open houses. Out here in California, none of that is happening. It could be setting up classes on how to homeschool kids, bringing people to events at the market center. Maybe it's a buyer seminar, a seller seminar, an investment seminar, whatever event's coming. I'm looking for two things, an appointment, and the second thing is adds to the database. My job is to build my database. My database is my business. That's the other thing that Gary talked about. The number of people that you have in your database and the depth of the relationship that you have with them is your business. I endeavored to make an appointment and to add to my database every day. That's lead gen normalized, right? Does that make sense? Who can I help? How can I help? And a lot of the scripts that I use is, who do you know? Who do you know that's looking to win a lottery in this market, where they take advantage of this market? Who do you know that would like to take the advantage of the lowest, and I said it for a long time, interest rate will never get to 4%. Over my head, Travis, right? It's free money. It's free money. Who do you know who is looking to take advantage of this real estate market? We're seeing a low inventory, which is driving prices up. We're seeing people take more equity out of their houses and move into houses, their dream houses, and their mortgage payment is less than the house they're in currently. And I got to thinking, who do you know? I'm not asking you directly, Greta. I'm just asking who you know. And then you answer, yes, I know people. No, I don't know people. Great. Thanks for thinking about that. Have you considered taking advantage of this real estate market? Are you looking to add real estate to your investment portfolio? I love that one because it's like assumes that you have an investment portfolio. Deb thinks I have an investment portfolio. Mm-hmm. It's just asking the questions. My lead generation is anything I can do to build my database and get an appointment to do business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you kind of revert. We've had the who was it? I think it was David Huffaker from Megacamp did the 3 ask script. You kind of reversed 1 and 2 just there, and 3 was, when it comes to real estate, who do you trust? I'd love the opportunity to earn that obligation or that role, right? So those aren't salesy at all. You're simply just entering into a conversation to determine if you can help. And whether they want to buy, sell, or invest, or they just have a question about painting, I want to be the person you call.
Yeah, my sago palm is dying. Deb, what do I do? As I'm Googling sago palm dying, here's what I have a landscaper guy. He's going to come over. He's going to look. Sago palms are big out here. It's really service first. Yeah. What was I going to say? That was, it's really building the database. And it is the ask, who do you know? Here's the mindset. Oh, somebody said, Corey said, I don't want to feel like I'm bothering the people of my sphere of influence, right? My friends, my family members. Here's something that helps me. Let's say you have a friend who's opening a restaurant locally. They're really good chef. I'll use the example of a company out here called Crumble. It's a cookie company, mind-blowing cookies, who knew? My friend is opening a franchise called Crumble. So if you had a friend that was opening a cookie store, which is a really strange time to do that, would you want to help them?
Yes.
Yeah. Then why wouldn't you give your friends and family the same opportunity to help you? Right? Because we would post it on Facebook, we would call and we'd say, Ebony, you got to go to this cookie store. Oh my gosh, the Snickerdoodles have cream cheese frosting on. They are to die for. You would call everybody you knew to get them to come to the grand opening, right? You would help your friend. Then why don't you allow your friends, family to help you?
Because there's just a big difference. Everyone can enjoy a cookie and it make zero impact on, what they're doing. but not everyone can buy a house, and not everyone can, you know, it's a big difference between a cookie
Yeah.
and a home. They're two different types of
There are two
consent.
different types, but the point, Greta, is would they help you? Would your friends and family help you if they ran across somebody who wanted to buy or sell a house? Would they be willing to say, hey, you know what? My cousin Greta is a licensed real estate agent and she really cares. Can I have her contact? Would those people do that for you?
I hope so.
There's one way to find out.
When it comes to real
That
estate,
sounds,
who do you
Yeah.
trust?
Who do you trust? When it comes to real estate, who do you trust?
But
Yeah,
I'm
sometimes we
having
get,
with
go ahead, Ebony.
well, like even with dealing with friends, and when it comes to them knowing that you're new to real estate, I've ran into a couple times just with friends who I thought we were really really good, but when it came to getting personal with them because you're discussing finances and what it is that they can afford, they feel more comfortable with a stranger opposed to with someone who they've known. So I'm still trying to figure out how to overcome that,
Is that what they've told you,
just
Ebony?
with friends.
Yeah, is that what
Well,
they've
when
told
you
you?
see that they went with someone else, they didn't
Ah.
say it, but when you go with someone else and you're doing, you're keeping in contact, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, to stay at the top of their minds. But then if they choose another realtor, it's just like, okay, what's the comfort level? What was it about me that you didn't choose me when we have a fantastic relationship?
Okay, right there. Stay right there, Ebony. Stay there with me. Ask that question to the person that went with somebody else. Hey, can I ask your help? I'd really like your help. Breakfast, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Help me be better. Well, yeah, tell me what I can work on to help me. Every time I lost a listing, I always called back and said, hey, I really need your help. Can I ask one thing? I understand that you went with Michael. And what I would like to do is help me get better? What can I do in the future that would help me be a better real estate agent, right? Or would help me in the presentation. I got great feedback. Ask them. What we're doing is we're making up the story in our head.
Mhm.
I don't know enough. You guys are the most educated real estate agents out there. There is more training available to you. And I'll break it down. You've got stats, right? You can talk about the economy. You've got a productivity coach where there's a bazillion trainings a day that you can go to. You know more than the average agent who has been in the business for 5 years. You've got the tools. And sometimes, here's a spoiler alert, you're not going to get them all. You're not going to get them all. You're going to lose. And you're going to lose some listings. You're going to lose some listing presentations. You're going to lose some transactions. You're going to lose some buyers. It's, do I have enough contacts to meet my goals? Do I have enough in my database? I didn't bat at 100%. Remember, if I suck at conversion, I took my conversion down to 50%. I still nail my goals. We're not going to get them all. What we learned from failing forward fast is we got to ask for the feedback.
Yeah,
So
you could
instead of
also-
making,
Go ahead.
what?
Because you could also ask, things like, what are some of your biggest hesitations about purchasing, or what are you most fearful about? And they'll say, oh, I don't want to share my private information. And then you can immediately say, look, I don't have access to that, right? I have a rough idea of what you make just because I know what you do and I know what you can afford, but I won't know your credit score and I won't know how much credit card debt you have. That's the lender's job. Right. So some of that you can handle in a buyer presentation and just setting appropriate expectations.
It's stringing that dialogue together, Bill, to right? We present our way to success. If I get better at that buyer consultation, I'll have a better time.
I'm curious, Deb, how you would respond to what Greta just asked. I'll tell you what I would say is, look, if they're not going to give you the business, then quit thinking about them for now and go out and find the business from somebody else. and then be public with some of your successes, and they'll take note. And if you ever get an opportunity from them in the future, it's gravy. But like I've told you guys before, I've been in the business almost 16 years. I've gotten one referral from my mother, who lives in Atlanta and who loves me dearly. And that one person wanted to pay me 1%. So if I sit around and wait for the phone to ring by my mother supporting my business, I'm going to starve. Okay. So this little group of lady friends that you have, Greta, who all are not going to give you business, quit focusing on them for right now.
Yeah, and just the next time you get together with them, hey, I just closed another transaction, I took a listing, and they'll start to notice. They see us in our role, right? Bill's mom sees Bill in the role of son. My dad saw me in the role of daughter, and he referred his neighbor listing, and the picture of the Seattle, whatever, Mariners bought it. So it's like a really pricey house. And he goes, well, I didn't know that you could get a referral. Well, my bad, right? The role that we're in with the people that we're in relationship may be different. That's why we talk about real estate to them. Hey, to help them. So look at your schedule. I really, guys, I want to spend the last couple of minutes, so it's 2, on the schedule. And is Ty Jackson on this call?
Doesn't look like she is. No.
I don't see it. Okay. How about Rose? Because, I don't know if you know this, but Bill actually brags on you. Taking control. Yeah. 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 You guys are doing a great job. Keep doing it. Let's talk a little bit about schedule. The number one determinant in every business is your ability to time block and protect your schedule. We talked about the 3 things to schedule, right? Your play time, your plan time, and your pay time. We can make excuses all day long. The brain loves that, right? It protects us from, you can have reasons, or you can have excuses, or you can make money. Look at it. What am I going to do differently this week to get back on track? What am I going to do differently today to get back on track in order to hit my goals? Tell yourself affirmation. I protect my time block. I script and role play. I am a great real estate agent, right? I am focused. I am determined. I am unemotional. I am performing at a high level. Protecting your time block is the most important thing. If you had 40 to 60 hours a week to invest in your real estate career, yes or no? 3 hours of lead gen, 1 hour of lead follow-up. The 2 do not commingle. I get a lead. Oh, somebody wants to think about, I'm going to go over here to the MLS and look for no, lead generation is followed by lead follow-up. Spend an hour each day on script and dialogue. Spend an hour each day practicing writing contracts. If you're not confident, Travis, write a contract every day. Practice. Listing contract, buyer contract. Listing contract, practice. Practice it. Read it. I don't know. And then an hour a day inside the MREA. Reading the MREA. And then an hour a day in some training, right? Attend your coaching. Track your numbers. So that's a 40-hour week I just laid out right there.
Yeah.
40 to 60 hours as we build a business. Now, if I don't have that time, it's what am I going to do within the time? Deb, I have 5 hours a day. Great, figure it out. Lead gen for an hour, focus lead gen, focus follow-up, script and role play practice. What are you going to do in the hours that you have? Bill, you had something that you're burning to say.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, as we wrap up, what advice, I mean, most of the people in this group here are, let's say 1 year or less in the business. Most of them are really more like 6 months or less in the business, with 1 or 2 exceptions. There's so much that we have access to, from coaching, training, videos, Zoom, blah, 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 right? Give us some inspiration. Like, talk a little bit about, like, the opportunity, thinking big, like walk us through what this has done for you, or give us some kind of a parting message, so that these agents can really understand the potential here.
Yeah, I think it's really it's focusing on the fundamentals. The brain will take you all different. Cut through the fog. When you cut through the fog and you realize what's most important is servicing others and helping others, you build a really big life. I went from, okay, do the math, like a $20,000 a year job, to 112, 115 units closed a year. I was able to do that as a single parent, struggling all the way through until I came to Keller Williams and realized, okay, I've got the tools and the systems, cut through the fog. My database is my business, build my database, service first, sales second. And I became extremely wealthy. I was able to send my kids to the best schools, support them in their business endeavors. I live at the frickin' beach in California. I am blessed beyond measure. I did the work. Chop wood, carry water every day. Service first, sales second, build a really big life. Everything else is the fog. Cut through the fog. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I love how we can take the complex. That's what leaders do, right? We take the very complex offering package and make it super simple.
Super simple.
It's not easy. It's simple. It's just not easy.
Oh, no, it's simple. It is not easy. And you guys have the best support out there. I want to thank you for being on this call and spending this time with me. I don't take that lightly. Take what we've talked about today and implement it, because if not, you just got maybe entertained a little bit. So implement it. Work with your productivity coach. You've got one of the best in the nation.
Thank you.
He cares wildly about you. He talks about you all the time. You've got everything. You've got everything in your fingers. My pleasure. My passion.
Thank you, Deb.
Yep.
Okay. Take care of
Thank
you.
Deb.
Go make it
Thank you, Deb.
happen.
Thanks.
I'll be watching you.
All
Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so
For
much.
now.
This was very helpful.
My
right.
pleasure.
You too.
My passion.
Have a good day.
Enjoy your afternoon.
Bye for now.
Thank you.